against my enemies, yeah. You see, you wanted to save you, and then learn how to raise you. But I forget you're from the wilderness.
Hello everyone, what is up? I'm Rob.
I'm Eamon.
This is Monster Fuzz Podcast.
Oh yeah!
Hope everyone is doing well wherever you may be in the world. I know we're chilling.
So chill.
Chilling out.
So chill right now.
Had a little bit of a talk about retro games. We're doing well, you know, drinking our tea.
Just easy.
Good
Just
times.
easy characters.
Absolutely, yeah.
Living a superior life.
We are talking about the feral people today.
We are.
It's the Cletuses on the rampage.
The Cleti.
But before we get into it, we'd like to remind everyone Patreon is how you can best support this podcast, and you get something in return for it. You get access to our Discord, you get ad-free episodes and ad-free and exclusive episodes. There we go. All over there on Patreon. Head on over and check it out, folks. You can also support us on YouTube, probably. Eamon, if you've got any spooky stories, where to send them?
Do you live near the Appalachian Trail? Have you seen the feral people? Write in monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com. There are some... I tried to get a lot of different bits and pieces on this, so we've got like two actual stories. Again, could be made up. They're from Cora. There's a little bit of history, a little bit of the urban legend. There's a little bit of missing 411 in here. It's a weird thing, and when you boil it all down, it's basically the stuff that inspired Wrong Turn. I guess you could say the stuff that inspired Hills Have Eyes as well, to maybe a bit of a lesser extent, because that was like more nuclear bombing centric. But yeah, it's a bit of a creepy one, man, to be honest with you. Like, it's a nightmarish scenario to find yourself in. If you imagine we were out in Kirklow Forest, we were having a great time, and then all of a sudden, effectively, people who were deformed and cannibalistic took us to their den in the Raven. Scary.
Yeah, and for further viewing on sort of the cultures and the people of these areas that emerge, check out Peter Santinello does a good video where he goes up into the hollers, and there's also that guy that did, is it the Soft White Underbelly? Guy?
Yeah.
He did videos with that family.
Like
As a matter of fact, I think that's his
family,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So Soft White Underbelly actually went and met some of these people, but both of those videographers, if you want to call them that, they both reported like that they've never seen such poverty in America.
Yeah.
Like, they were actually kind of shocked. They were like, "Oh wow!" Like I didn't realize America can be this poor.
Yeah, it's basically like the like that side of it is obviously a thing that does exist. The inbreeding and blah blah blah. This is more like urban legendy melonhead type.
That ties
stuff.
into it a little bit.
It does. It certainly ties into it. I suppose it's worth saying at the outset that we're not trying to say that those people in the Soft White Underbelly are cannibalistic,
but they might be
rapers. Or sorry, I can't say that.
No, you can't say that.
Yeah.
No.
But you know what I mean. Yeah, it's like
YouTube algorithms.
Yeah. Sorry, so we say that for multiple things, right? I'm getting my head around it. It's very interesting. It was something that I just came across recently, because the more stuff the more you're looking at this stuff online when you're doing notes, the more YouTube starts going, what about this?
Yeah.
There's another thing, like a headless lad who chased a load of fellas away from something that I have in my my list of notes.
Get out here, you YouTube algorithm.
Get out here, you YouTube algorithm. It was me all along, YouTube algorithm. Anyway, we will enlighten you to the best of our ability.
The intro there.
So, the concept of feral cannibals in American national parks is a topic that blends folklore, conspiracy theories, and internet speculation, often fueled by mysterious disappearances and eerie anecdotes associated with remote wilderness areas. The term feral cannibals refers to a supposed group of wild human-like creatures or rogue individuals who have either reverted to a primal state or have been living outside of society for generations. According to the legends, these beings are thought to inhabit isolated parts of national parks, attacking hikers, campers, and other unsuspecting individuals who venture too far off the beaten path.
Because you kind of forget that, but, well, we forget it because we're men. But you are actually quite vulnerable when you're out hiking. Women are very aware of it because I'm in a couple of hiking groups and they're always like, you know, girls asking questions like, am I safe going out on my own, etc., etc. And like, to be fair, like it is strange where you do feel, and I'm speaking about myself here, where you would feel entirely safe just going out into the middle of nowhere on your own. Like, just kind of, so if I was a woman, I probably would feel very vulnerable in these places. And probably rightfully so.
Well,
so you never know who's watching.
Realistically, so I suppose.
Never know who's in the woods, brother.
Some of this gets into that in a bit. Like, it is a terrible thing, and it's something that you don't realize until you get to a certain age. Because I remember talking to friends of mine, like lady friends before, and I was just like, oh yeah, and I hadn't. And it's again, it is a privilege thing. You don't recognize that they have to have so much foresight into their night out. Whereas I can get hammered till 4 a.m. and meander home, and I've never gotten into any trouble. Not to say that I won't ever, but you know, we're both over 6 feet. We're fellas. I found that, like, even though I haven't been in a fight since I was 12, I've seen sometimes guys who would be fighting my friends, or there's a scuffle going on. This going back years, obviously, not like last weekend. But they don't attack me just because I'm tall.
Yeah, that's the best way to realise that's the thing is go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Everyone's trying to fucking kill you because you're the tall fella. It's like
so they're trying to kind of say, yeah, I'm the lad who,
And you're like, for fuck's sake, like, I'm like literally doing like fucking Abu Dhabi Invitational.
I'm just white belts, leave me alone.
We're doing the fucking ADCC.
Fucking 6'5" yellow tag getting destroyed by purple
and lads
belts.
are just like trying to fucking, you know what I mean, prove a point. And you're like, lads, like, I don't, and this goes back to not seeing it, and maybe it being a privilege thing is like, I don't know the sight ever. Like, I don't.
Yeah, neither do I.
Like, I don't. Unless someone was like remarkably short or something, I might go, just they're like 4 foot fucking 10. But like I don't, like, say if a lad is like 5'6", they're probably in their head way more about that than me ever even noticing it. Like, I wouldn't even notice it.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Like I don't see it.
The only 2 people I know who are taller than me are, well, 3. There's probably yourself, Steve, and a buddy of mine, Richie, and like there's no one else I really know that is much taller than me.
Yeah, so it's people. So it is a privilege thing. So when you're out and about, you know, like out hiking as a lad, you might say, "Oh, sure, it's grand." You know what I mean? Like, I never fight, but as a woman, like, it's a very different.
But that's it. You, like I
prospect.
said, you could go home by yourself at the middle of the night with headphones in, not paying attention to anything, and but definitely, it is something that I suppose is a privilege thing where, you know, you don't recognize. Now, on the other hand, you might have a girl who she's so pretty, and pretty privilege is another thing, that she just assumes that it's normal for people to buy you drinks.
Oh yeah, well, that's true too.
Do you know? And again, I'm not saying that to diminish the fact that she has to be worried when she then goes home later, but it's just all these different types of advantages. But she might be more at danger
because she's more.
She certainly is if lads are buying her drinks all night.
So
there little Jimmy for my new friend.
So there you go.
Absolutely, yeah. So don't accept drinks from strangers.
Don't hike alone, women.
Don't hike alone. No. Don't accept drinks from strangers.
Be vigilant.
Remember to be with a tall man who can defend you, or at the very least will inspire cowardice in other men. So feral cannibals are often described as filthy, malnourished, and sometimes unnaturally strong, with an eerie, animalistic demeanour. Some stories suggest that feral people belong to a missing, less evolved version of human beings. And this may go some of the way to explaining how these people are sometimes said to have strength that far surpasses an ordinary human. They're portrayed as living in caves or troglodyte, secluded areas. They are ambushing travellers and they're eating them without salt, most probably. The legends frequently focus on large remote parks such as the Appalachian Trail, the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone Park, where the vast wilderness can feel impenetrable. Armor-like wilderness. Some contemporary legends also suggest that some of these people are descendants from men who deserted during the Civil War, and they live in complete solidarity and solitude out in a separate civilization, basically, and that would then sort of buy into the inbreeding, because if they're a small group together, it's like if Adam and Eve is real, we should all look really gimped out, right?
Yeah. Cletus
Brother Richard, sorry. don't come at us for that. I'm obviously saying.
But no, we are though. Like again, we are like literally, and this was something we covered in the main Pleistocene episodes way back when. like we're all descended from like a pod of like 600 humans
600
or some
people.
shit. And they actually reckon right, like that there might be a bit of ancestral memory, and that's how the tale of Adam and Eve happened, was because
because there
there
was so
a
few of us.
time where there was
Yeah,
so few.
that'd make sense.
Lads
The
were like, there was
mythology
only
of it
one
is-
woman in that fucking jungle,
Yeah.
and that's where the story comes from. Like,
It's a mad thing though, isn't it? Because then, if we are from those 600 people Genesis, the reality is that all of us are probably
no, we are super.
we're
inbred.
all like
No, we are super.
We'd have
inbred.
to be, right?
Yeah, no, we are. Like that's the thing. Like, we have a very small gene pool. Lots of inbreeding, lots of recessive genes.
My eyes are quite close together.
You're ginger, you know.
Yeah, no, I've that's it for me cousins and all. There's some cool conspiracy theories as well that suggest that the US government are actually aware of these groups of people, but they hide their existence to avoid public panic and to protect tourism revenue.
Interesting. Do you think that's a thing? The Cletus strongholds.
The Cletus conspiracies.
No.
I would think that that's probably not.
Well, they're a thing. Like in Las Vegas, they're a thing. The sewer people, you know, and that's
Sewer
right
people
under
are, yeah.
everyone's eyes.
But
Now,
the
there's
sewer
not eight
people,
people.
yeah, this is it. And the sewer people actually, when you watch documentaries about them, like
They're like former.
there's
porn
actually
stars and
quite
shit.
well. There's
You're like,
quite.
ugh.
It's quite sort of. You feel a lot of empathy towards them because like they are just normal people, obviously in the throes of fairly bad addiction. I think Andrew Callahan does a really
Yeah,
good.
he did. Yeah, I've seen it, yeah,
his
yeah.
one's really good on that,
Yeah.
and it's quite sad because they're just sort of they're almost just pushed out of regular society. But then again, if you're cracked out of it, I don't know. Like you're not like it's going to be hard to integrate to normal society.
I think
I'm not
what-
saying you should live in a tunnel, but it's difficult, you know.
Well, you should live in a tunnel. But what I think that was established in that video was like there's plenty of help there. It's just a lot of these addicts don't really want to seek help, so they're not really.
Yeah, well, we said it
interested.
before, you know, even though a lot of these drugs are highly detrimental to you, they are performing a function that is allowing you to cope in some way.
Oh, yeah, for
It's
sure.
just at a certain point, this probably means that your body
Yeah.
or your mind can't cope in
Yeah.
other ways. And, you know, it's
Yeah.
all... It's
It is
tricky.
funny because like a lot of the lads, like I know a couple of lads who would have been hardcore like drug heads back in the day, like, and you know, basically what they are now is like heavily medicated on like sedatives and like all other type of pharmaceuticals to just keep them on the straight and narrow. And so you're like, it is the lesser of two evils, absolutely, but it's just funny that like that is almost the extent that they have to go to stay on that straight and narrow. Do you know that kind of way?
And like that's the thing is like I feel a lot of times with addiction and stuff like that, like most people, everyone says like, oh, you just have to have willpower, and there is an element I would imagine of willpower, but there's also an element of like if your brain is firing fucking madness in around your head, you're going to look for something to pacify you.
Yes. Dopamine deficiency is a lot of it. It's like that's how they end up seeking drugs. Like it's just,
of course.
They don't get dopamine from what normal people, well, average people get their dopamine from. Like regular ass people get their dopamine from getting a takeaway once a week or something, and they're happy enough, and they do their little bits. Maybe they go for a walk or a hike, and they're like, yeah, that's great. But then there's people who are like, I need like strong pharmaceuticals to get
coke.
Yeah. But anyway, look, we get back to the Cletuses. Some mythology. The myth of Romulus and Remus, alien Remus, begins in Alba Longa. A city said that sounds like a fake name, Alba Longa. Alba Longa to the city. Said to be founded by Aeneas's descendants. That's it, Aeneas, is it?
Aeneas? I think so, yeah.
Numitor, the rightful king, was overthrown by his brother Amulius, who sought to prevent Numitor's lineage from reclaiming the throne. To this end, Amulius forced Numitor's daughter, Rhea Silvia, to become a Vestal virgin, a priestess sworn to celibacy. However, Rhea Silvia, sounds like a wrestler, became pregnant by the god Mars and gave birth to twin boys, Romulus and Remus. Fearing the twins would grow up to challenge him, Amulius ordered them to be killed.
So there's a lot of...
He was not Amulius.
He was not Amulius. Yeah, there's a lot of correlation you see here with King Herod in the Bible. There's a sort of a...
Zeitgeist.
Jesus is the Sun King Ra. I know that steel beams don't burn, brother. Economic
It is not, but it
crash.
is not. That is a legitimate.
Oh yeah.
Like the comparisons of religions,
Yeah.
is fairly heavy.
It's
like,
all overlapping. Well, we talked about it in the mini fuzz last week. We talked about that 100 monkey thing where you start to see things develop at the same time in different countries with no sort of connection to each other, and you do wonder, is it the same with mythology and human understanding? Because these are all just palette swaps, effectively, of
Skin
these stories.
DLC.
Skin DLC, yeah.
So the little babies were placed in a basket and they were set adrift on the Tiber River, leaving their fate to the will of the gods. 'Tis the will of the gods. The basket came to rest near Palatine Hill. Good old Palatine. We know all about that, Eamon.
Palpatine.
Yeah. That's where Jesus was hanging around there, I think.
Was he in Palatine?
I think so. Might be wrong. I think so. Where the twins were discovered by a she-wolf. Oh, Lupa. Who nursed them in a cave called the Lupercal.
That's a class name. Cave. That's the M-shaped cave, the Lupercal.
A woodpecker, which was sacred to Mars, also brought them sustenance. Eventually, a shepherd named Faustulus found the twins and, with his wife, Laurentia, raised them as his own. There's a cuckoo in the nest. Growing up as strong and resourceful young men, Romulus and Remus became natural leaders. Defending their community from threats and learning of their royal lineage, they would also go on to star in the modern-day Alien film. Once aware...
Just Romulus.
Oh, just Romulus.
Just Romulus.
Once aware of their true heritage, the brothers returned to Alba Longa because
I'll belong here.
Al belonged to there. They overthrew Amulius, who was not amused, and restored Numitor to the throne. 'Tis the will of the gods, your birthright. After reclaiming their birthright, Romulus and Remus set out to establish a new city near the site of their miraculous survival. Oh, what am I talking about? Jesus was there. Palatine Hill, that's in Rome, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I was there.
Jesus might have been.
Sure, wasn't I there?
Sure, wasn't I there? That's.
Were you in Rome?
Yes.
Did you go to Palatine Hill? The Roman Forum and all that. That's all around there, I think.
I can't remember. I saw Pompeii.
Oh, you'd remember.
And I saw the Colosseum.
Oh, you'd remember because you could be overcome with emotion.
Not me, son.
Italian emotion.
I'm a 6'2" emotionless man.
All right, that's a lie.
When I am on the streets at night, men cower in fear.
So Romulus and Remus set out to establish a new city. It was in Rome, I think. Disagreeing over which hill to build it upon, Romulus favoured Palatine Hill, while Remus favoured Aventine Hill. They decided to seek a sign from the gods, but the rivalry turned violent and boxing ensued. Romulus killed Remus and declared himself the sole ruler. Here we are, founding the city of Rome. April 21st, 753 BC.
Romulus.
Sure wasn't I there? I was over there, man. I stood in on the Roman Forum.
I've always believed in you, Romulus.
The Roman Forum's cool spot. It's right beside the Colosseum, pretty much, just down the road.
I must have seen it then. It's over 20 years since I was there, so I don't...
It's like, yeah. So there's like, I was trying to describe it best. Yeah, there's a road up to the Colosseum, and like, I don't know if I think it might be the main road up to the Colosseum, and like, it's like straight down this road, but on the right is the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill, and like you can kind of go in around and have an out stroll, and there's all ancient like pillars and stuff. It's like a fucking Tomb Raider level.
Okay, cool.
But cool spot, nice gardens. Oh, you might remember there's like a chariot track there.
That does sound familiar.
There's like a big ass chariot track where they used to fucking race and kill lads.
Joust each other and all.
Yeah, stabbing.
Oh, that's right. They used to do Fast and Furious against each other in just a loop.
Like Vin Diesel, like.
It was like Ridge Racer, but with horses and death.
Apparently that Paul Mescal Gladiator shite, is it? Have you seen it?
Haven't seen it, no. I would like to see it because obviously Gladiator 1 is class.
Yeah,
I believe it's just
you don't
called
need to make another
Gladiator.
one though.
They don't need to, but in a time when everything is a retelling and a reboot and a refresh.
Would they not have been just better off than remaking the first one? At least then it's a good story. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny, like, how old is that movie? Like over 20 years? 25
I seen
years?
it in the cinema. I want to say it was probably 12 or 11, so probably like 2000, 2001, maybe 99, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so like after 20 years to bring out a sequel, just like Gladiator 2, same lads aren't in it,
Yeah.
and it's just another Gladiator,
Yeah.
and you just do it's the same story. Gladiator 2, like it is a funny thing. Now I would like to see it, and I'd say I'll enjoy it. I have a feeling I'll enjoy it. It's got Denzel Washington.
How
as
could you not
the-
enjoy it? Sure?
The Emperor, the Equalizer.
What's
He's
going
like,
on up
you
this
have
fuck
90
costume?"
seconds to kill that lion.
Yeah. So Rome, that's the origin story. Jesus was not there.
No,
I was getting my
you're getting
sort
your
of
lore and your religion mixed up.
stuff, you know.
But the Romans did become Christians eventually.
Took them
And
a
as
while, but
Rome
they came
burned,
around.
they were saved
They
by
came-
their faith in our Lord.
They came around eventually.
Yeah.
Stories like the myth of Romulus and Remus and legends of the feral people share common roots in humanity's fascination with survival, the wilderness, and the tension between civilized and untamed nature. Yeah, like it's funny, my tour guide was literally telling us this whole story, and my dumb ass
Romulus
can't
and
even
Remus.
remember it. Yeah.
It's funny because, like,
And this
obviously,
was a year ago.
it was something that kind of resonated with me. Is like it's a quintessential raised by animals story. So
Yeah.
it's an because obviously there are actual feral children, and we've done an episode on them years ago. Because
Yeah.
when I was looking through the notes, I was going to do a bit more, and I was like, oh no, we've done this. But if you go onto Wikipedia, you will find a list of kids raised by wolves, monkeys, elephants, some really horrible neglect stories about kids being raised by dogs that their father, their parents owned. So it's an interesting thing. These are technically, this story is an actual feral child, and it's how it kind of winds in with the current urban legends, which is a retelling in a sense, and a less sort of a less heroic story, let's say, because we've lost a lot of heroism. Our urban legends today are all sort of based on being fearful of the wilderness.
True.
Which this, I suppose you could say, in a sense, is to become the head of a civilization, having started sucking on a wolf's teeth. You know?
Yeah, so myths of the founders like Romulus and Remus emphasize a divine or heroic journey from chaos to order. So in their story, wilderness is a temporary proving ground where they're nurtured by the primal forces, the she-wolf, before becoming the architects of civilization. Over time, as societies developed and moved away from nature, these tales morphed, focusing less on the heroic potential of wilderness and more onto its dangers, giving rise to legends of wild or feral people as threats rather than progenitors. So, I think what my tour guide was saying at the time, it's all coming back to me now.
When you touch me like this.
Was that like, this whole story at one point in time is looked at as like true, like just totally fictitious. But they've, after finding some like archaeological stuff, that they're like, oh, well, maybe actually stuff goes further back than we thought here in this spot. So I think that's what she was saying.
Like in terms of not necessarily that story being true, but there was a Romulus.
Yeah,
but his lore was kind of
like that
fabricated
the
a bit.
story might actually kind of happen.
I'm sure there was a thing where, because it would have happened so often back in sort of ancient cultures and ancient civilizations, where because blood was a really defining thing in terms of the hierarchy of a civilization, you would, well, not we wouldn't because we were sound, but you can see why people would try to kill off certain offspring or certain lineage so that they could retain power and stuff like that. Which is a tale as old as time.
Sure, Japanese, like if you're born a bit Down syndrome or something, the Japanese leave you in the woods.
This is Sparta.
Japanese, like their 6-year-old gets diagnosed autistic.
So like they've raised him and loved him for 6 years. Like,
Get rid of him. Like they're like, sorry, we think your son might have a bit of autism.
But sure, everyone in Japan
they
is
just leave him out in the woods.
But sure, everyone in Japan, you have to be severely autistic to be diagnosed as autistic in Japan.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's true.
Like as
No,
you
you're
said,
right
a load of lads that love video games and cats and are really socially awkward. It's like
Japan is
it's
a
the most
country of
autistic country.
high functioning autistic.
Yeah, if
people.
Ireland is the country of high functioning alcoholics, then Japan is definitely the country of high functioning.
It's all about
autists.
order and rigid kind of everything has to be a certain way.
It's mad because it's such an authoritarian country,
But they want
it
that,
has
though.
so much freedom at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. I like it. I like my governments being like, don't be doing that. Actually, that's not true. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, you're not.
I hate that.
You'll be giving out now.
I'd be going, stop it, Minister for Justice. Let me speak my mind.
Go on there about.
Oh, that's right. Sure, the hate speech is in now. You may be careful.
Yeah, you're banned. Well, you
said that everyone in Japan. You said
That's not hate
there's 6-year-old autistic kids in the forest.
That's true.
That's true. Oh no, the forest.
That's right.
He did it to himself.
YouTube algorithm forest.
Oh, sorry. YouTube
Twice in one
algorithm
episode, ladies and gentlemen.
So there have been people who've been known to vanish without explanation from the national parks. And in certain cases, the US Army's elite special forces, the Super Army Soldiers or SAS, they're called into it to help with investigations.
It'd be the Navy SEALs, I believe.
No, it's the SAS, the Super Army Soldiers.
That's England, though. That's UK.
Yeah, no, there's a branch. There's a branch in the Americas as well.
All right.
Yeah, no, it'd be the SEALs. So the most well-known of these cases was the mysterious disappearance of a 6-year-old boy named Dennis Martin, who vanished during a family camping trip in 1969. On the afternoon that Martin disappeared, tourist Harold Key and his family heard an enormous, sickening scream, and shortly thereafter witnessed an unkempt, shaggy, rough-looking man running up the trail near where the scream had come from.
Now?
Yeah. So this is when you start getting into the sort of missing 411 stuff, because this does get into some feral people in that. Now, obviously, Politis, he never actually says it, but he throws out a line to Bigfoot mythology and Bigfoot sightings as well. Never officially says it, but he's like, this child said a giant bear took care of them, but bears wouldn't do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know, so it's interesting. It's interesting, and I'm not saying that to diminish it. It's just the missing 411 stuff is. I've read one of the books, and yeah, they're pretty interesting.
All right.
But it's really just like once you've read a few chapters, like, okay, this whole book is the same and it's massive, and I'm going to put it down now.
Yeah, they kind of con me. I put the one on Amazon or whatever it was on. And I'm like, oh yeah, Bigfoot and all. And then it's just like, this is just a murder mystery documentary. And they're like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. And it's a lot of them in the books. It's like a lot of it is just here's the case, so you're just reading the same. Now again, like I said, some of them are really interesting. It's like, I think did you ever read Howard Marks's dope stories when you were a kid?
Probably, but I don't remember anything.
So like once you've read 2 stories about lads getting stoned, you've kind of read them all. Do you know, it's like, oh, like there's not much character development here, as these stories are a bit anyway. Again, all amazing creativity. So on the afternoon that Martin disappeared, as we were saying, we see this feral man. So he also claimed that the shaggy man was carrying cloth or clothing over his shoulder, which again, maybe this was the child. He claims the sighting happened roughly an hour after the disappearance of Dennis Martin and about 5 miles from the incident. So park rangers and the Federal Bureau of Investigation concluded that there was insufficient evidence to link the sightings to Martin's disappearance. Given that Key's sighting was approximately 5 miles away from where Martin disappeared, and closer to 7 or 9 miles by the trails, and the difficulty of traversing such a distance in the amount of time between when Martin disappeared and when the time that he would have said he saw this feral person running away. So again, this links in with that whole conspiracy that they're trying to downplay that there's any feral people around because they don't want people to stop. It's like the fucking mayor of the town in Jaws. He's like, there's not a giant shark in the water that's going to kill people. And then, sure enough, on a fine summer's day, a boy is savaged by a giant fish. A fish called Jaws.
Have you bought yourself that Jaws Lego yet, or what?
I have not.
Some good. Have you seen that? Yeah, I sent you that. It's out now.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
It's pretty cool. I don't actually have enough room in my house.
You do.
And my wife would be like, do you ever think about having a nice picture on the wall rather than a Lego fish eating a sailor?
It's better though.
It's way better. It's way better.
We got a fucking nice picture. Fuck that. There's a bit of Lego.
I'm gonna
put that on the mantelpiece.
I'm gonna frame the picture of Roy Schneider rather. Rob Schneider. Yeah, that'd be fairly hilarious. Roy Schneider throwing the offal into the water as Jaws comes up, breaches the surface. Ooh, you're gonna need a bigger boat. Oh no. But you didn't, because you killed him in the head, Roy Schneider, so fair play to you. According to Brian Jeffrey from the Black Mass Paranormal podcast, the Special Forces troops found 0 trace of the little boy, but apparently they did actually encounter some real feral individuals. The group of feral people, he said that they've been known to have cannibalistic tendencies.
Super Cletus.
Super Cletus. Cletus extreme Cletus. Donnie Laws, who's another podcaster, he said the first reports of any wild man in the US, and this is interesting, was around 1877 in western North Carolina. Some gold miners ran into one as they were going to work in the mines. They followed it to a cave and found a bunch of bones that were all different types of animals. They don't specifically say that they were human bones, but again, it gets back into that idea of deserters, the Civil War. And I would say wild people in 1877 was probably real. Like, I would say that doesn't necessarily mean that they went to evolve into this sort of feral group of cannibals. But it's also not to say that it didn't happen, I guess.
Yeah, there's probably isolated communities for sure. But like even nowadays, like those community in the hollers, like, you know, who's to say that there isn't a few super Cletus groups up there, you know?
Well, this is it, yeah. It's interesting. So recently there's also been an increase in reports of these people. They're supposedly known to set traps to capture lone hikers in the mountains. And like any kind of predatory animal, they've targeted the elderly and children specifically because they're easier to get.
Catch your foot in one of them snares, son.
This is it, man.
It'd
be so. Can you imagine like walking through the woods and you get your ankle caught in a bear trap and you're like, this is really shitty. I'm trying to get this bear trap off me. And then what happens is you see a load of mad deformed lads coming at you.
Nude
Cletus. Nude extreme Cletus. Coming at you, and your poor old ankle, and you're desperately trying to go, oh no, get this off me.
And then he's bombing you while you're trying to get it off.
And then after a while you just go, actually this doesn't feel as bad as I thought. It's certainly distracting me from this.
Get him, boys.
Do you see your man Destiny? He's
no.
Yeah, he's he hasn't done anything bad really. He's just come out, I suppose, as being a bit boy or something like that.
Who's Destiny?
He's one of those internet intellectuals.
All right.
I'm so smart.
Is he?
I love the
Destiny.
Democrats. Destiny, you'd know him. Maybe
is he not just a live streamer? Like, is he one of them Twitch lads?
He's
like fucking
I don't know,
Penguin and all them lads, or whatever he's called.
Like who?
Penguin.
I thought you meant Penguin, like from
no.
Batman.
No.
Oh wow, you gotta get out of here, Sophia.
No.
No, he's been going around with butt plugs, I think, or just saying he's into it. And apparently, a lot of people do. What percentage of people would you say go around with an owl?
I have one in now.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do I have the controls?
I have one in now. Yeah.
Any use? You don't seem like it's really affected you very
It's
much.
grand, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a nice internal massage, is it?
Yeah, no, I don't think, like, it's weird, isn't it? What kind of place in life we are where it's like people just go around with a butt plug up their hole. Like.
It's cool though because you can get tails on them and all, so they're fairly cool.
Like, I'm not against sex.
No, I wouldn't be at all. It's only that as we were talking there about
to be going around
by
with,
extreme
like,
Cletus.
Just sitting there like eating your fucking noodles or something with a butt plug in. It's just like, what?
Yeah,
it's like why do you have to make everything sexual 24/7? Like, just there's a time and place to throw down.
I couldn't be sexual
24/7. No, exactly.
I'd be exhausted.
Like, how horned up do you have to be? Like, tell you put all them out in the woods with Cletus and a bear trap, and they'll be fucking second guessing their life now.
Well, what would Cletus do as he tries to sort of enter you, and he's denied passage by this foreign object that you've been wearing all day?
He's like, what is this? What is this nonsense?
Cletus, yeah, that'd be like a UFO type. So he'd be like, never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, as well. Like, what kind of condition is a butt plug that's been in all day coming out? Like,
probably not. Well, would you have to take it out? But like, what? Because like you'd need to go to the toilet at some point.
Oh,
you take the butt plug out.
Pop it out.
Or what? Do you know what I mean? Like has sexuality come too far?
We're obsessed with it.
I think we're a bit obsessed with it. We were always into it, but now lads are wearing butt plugs all day, and for me, it's a bridge too far. Now I respect Destiny, and I respect anyone who wants to wear a butt plug all day. Have at it.
Who is Destiny? You're not going to tell me that there's someone that claims to be an intellectual and their name is Destiny.
Not only is their name Destiny, but they wear butt plugs on the regular. He's a fella. He's been in some of those like he'd debate against. He's
I know
left
the
wing,
dude.
so he'd debate against other people, and he'd debate against people who were Republican.
Is he like
or whatever.
African American maybe?
Oh no,
No, he's white.
white dude.
Oh, I don't
white
know that
boy
guy
for
then.
Kamala. White boy for butt plugs.
Twerkers for Kamala.
I'd say, but that's it. You know, this is. You know, I think with Donald Trump, you're going to have a severe lack of butt plugs all day.
Oh, maybe there might be an
I
uptick.
wear one all day.
I'd say there might
It
be an
feels
uptick.
good.
I'd say, well, Conservatives, listen. Conservatives were sticking the pampas grass plants in their garden to indicate they were swingers. So, you know, they're all about it too.
There's something
in
about
different
swinging.
ways.
Like I can kind of I see you swinging. I see you like Avatar, like the movie Avatar. I see you, Jake Sully, ride my friend. But like swinging is kind of like you've been in marriage for ages, bit browned off. You got married very young. It's 1960s America. Blah blah blah.
Well, it's now for a lot of people.
Well, it's now for a lot of people as well. I'd say now.
There's probably more people
With
out.
technology. But sure, do you ever, like, I remember someone telling me when I was living in Canada, they're like, go on to Craigslist because that's where a lot of the jobs are advertised. So that was fine. And then there was stuff in Craigslist that was just like, here, we're in town for the night.
Yeah.
Come riding. But there was like, I'd never seen anything like that before.
That's what happens when like two deviants get in a relationship together.
They wear butt plugs all day. You know?
Usually it's like one deviant is with someone that's fairly straight laced, but like when two deviants get together, that's when.
Well,
the
generally
doors open.
speaking, it's like a guy and a girl looking for a girl. They generally, probably because they would actually get a huge amount of responses looking for guys. And guys are gross as well. Not the way guys are like wearing butt plugs all day. You know?
You're into cuckolding, aren't you?
Yeah, I like to be the cuckoo in the nest. I don't like to be the man sitting in the chair watching his wife getting reamed.
You must like if you're the lad that like say it comes out, you're the fella that goes to ride the wife on the cook. Like it must be like it must be some danger ride because you're like, is he just going to turn around and like pistol whip me now or something at any moment?
Well,
like,
what if he just all of a sudden like I'd be afraid that all of a sudden he's like, what the fuck
Yeah, exactly.
am I looking
Yeah,
at?
exactly.
I would.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if I was like, oh, this is a class
Yeah.
fancy, and then I'd say halfway
We're
through,
keeping it real,
I
goes wrong.
just start getting like, what are you doing to my wife? Like I'd start freaking out like, why did you come here? You invited me here. Get that butt plug out of your ass. Get the fuck out of my wife's ass right now. No, mama, please, mama.
Don't take me from the pussy.
Don't take my butt plug.
That sounds like that is kind of happened then.
I believe that one must be very careful of what fantasies they entertain.
when keeping it real
I would
goes
be
wrong,
like,
man.
I'd be like, get it out of your system on the internet if you need to. But like, I think a lot of those doors, when you open them, you're
Pandora's
bringing,
box.
especially when you start involving other people and stuff. You're playing with fire.
Yeah. The only time I, in my personal opinion, it works is when you just don't care about the other person anymore, and you're like, I don't care.
And there's plenty of marriages where you see there's
and
just
I think that's it.
constant disdain.
Yeah,
you just
don't
like
care.
just imagine that.
It's like,
asking a
sure.
lad to ride your wife just to be like,
It's like, I don't care.
just to sort of like acknowledge how much you disliked. I knew she was nothing but a no. That's that's horrible. Like if you just have simple rules in your relationship, we're just going to try to look after each other, and we're going to have ups and downs, but on the whole, if we can just try to look after each other, it'll be fine. Not be like them bring you into a room with like a load of holes in the wall.
This episode was supposed to be about Cletus. Is really all over the place. We got some real life stories here.
We do.
Stuart Hall Quora from Quora. Yes, there is. I live here.
So the question was like, does anyone have any experience of Cletus? Extreme Cletus?
Yes, there is. I live here. In 1976, I was in the National Guard in Newport, Tennessee. I signed out a Jeep. Another soldier and I went on a recruiting trip. We were given a tip to drive up Hall's Peak, English Mountain, part of the Smoky Mountain chain. That there were people we could talk to there. Hall's Peak was barely gravel, with a pretty steep grade. 2/3 of the way up, a young male stood off to the side. As Randy and I got closer, Randy said, "Get the hell out of here!" As we got close enough, I got truly scared. The male's head was misshapen, one eye lower than the other. "This is Sparta!" Fucking Quasimodo. He was the dirtiest person I have ever seen, and we could smell him 30 feet away. The butt plug was truly ripe. He smelled like rotten meat. Neither Randy or I spoke a word, all the way off of the peak. When we got back to the motor pool, Sergeant Cody asked what was wrong. We told him. He was pissed off beyond belief, asking what the hell were we doing up there. We told him about the advice to go up there and look for recruits. He tore into the guys that told us to go, telling them they could have gotten us killed and that they knew what could have happened, that they eat and kill people up there, full stop, true story, full stop.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Jeff Busto writes in.
Jeff Busto's another one, yeah.
You gotta take off Jeff Busto.
He says, I have encountered feral humans in North Idaho. My daughter and I were lost after taking a wrong turn in the back country of Shoshone County. Shoshone. My Shoshone. The area was uninhabited forest land. An adult albino male and female emerged onto the shoulder of the gravel road and were being followed by a young boy and girl who were both naked. They too were both albino. Both adults were wearing tattered long-sleeve t-shirts but no pants or shoes. Nice. Well, you've done it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. You should always wear pants and not t-shirts if you're left in that predicament. Mm-hmm. They were all grotesquely disfigured with facial deformities, pronounced brows and cheekbones, non-symmetrical skulls, and offset lower jaws. They all had thin lips, blue lips, yeah, kid, open mouths and exposed crooked teeth. Their white, dirty hair was patchy with bald spots past their shoulders. They looked malnourished with twisted spines and bony limbs. He got like the full view. We ran around them a few times. Their heads looked disproportionately large from their bodies. The man and woman lunged at the truck with arms outstretched, both making loud guttural grunting sounds. My daughter was screaming, absolutely terrified by the appearance and behaviour. Needless to say, he actually says needles to say.
I had
needles to say.
Laugh. That's the Alan Partridge line.
Needles to say. Right. So he didn't stop or slow down. They were going about 10 miles an hour due to the condition of the road. There were no driveways or evidence of houses for miles. They were literally 20 miles from the nearest paved road. Every once in a while, his daughter brings the incident up in conversation, and to this day, 25 years later, he doesn't have a reasonable explanation for what they witnessed.
Yeah, I mean, Cletus is what you witnessed.
A wild Cletus appears.
Hollywood vibes, yeah. So there's a lot of Hollywood adaptations. We've got Wrong Turn. We've got The Hills Have Eyes. We've got an episode of X-Files called Home.
Yeah, we kind of focused on Home. Home is... I saw this when I was like 11 or 12, I think.
Right.
Maybe I was slightly older, I can't remember. But it scared the bejeebus out of me. And it was actually cancelled from the Fox network.
Oh, really?
It was so disturbing. But it has...
Offensive to the Cletuses?
Yes. Yeah.
Cletus exploitation.
Yes. It's pretty gross. We've talked about it on the podcast before, I think. I don't think you've seen it.
No.
I wouldn't. Well, it's a great episode. It's just really harrowing.
I've only seen like probably 3 episodes of the X-Files. Yeah, not many.
Pop. Good show.
Yeah.
I like it because of Mulder and Scully and their investigations into the strange, paranormal, esoteric circles.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
Find Loch Ness by mistake.
It's like us when we went over.
Yeah, we
found it by mistake.
Yeah.
Do you know?
He was drawn to us.
What do you reckon about all the Cletuses? Do you think it's a thing? Cletuses in the woods? I think so. Like, I think the Hollers are...
I don't know if they're the sort of villains they're being portrayed there. I imagine they're just normal people that, there's generations of inbreeding or whatever, but...
There's a term for this, and I can't remember what it is, but it's like Hollywood, like making...
Like exploitation
of
movies.
The southern... person. Like,
there
it's
is
like it's idiot. It's like turning him into this stereotype.
Murder.
Yeah, and it's like Resident Evil 7 got the same criticism, that it was like, oh yeah, of course the Louisiana family from the swamp are fucking hard. You know what I mean? Like it's like a trope that they keep doing, and there's an actual term for that trope when people keep leaning on that like Southern American yokel trope.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name, but it is a thing.
Oh yeah, it's like.
Do you think it's a bit of that, or do you think there is probably?
Yeah, I would imagine there's an element of that, but I would imagine it stems from, like we said, actual people living in the wilderness. Authentic Cletus meets extreme Cletus.
Well, like in the modern day, we're talking
survive
about
this old pantheon.
Well, we're talking about in the modern day, like the Peter Santinello and the Soft White Underbelly
This is
guy.
it. You're seeing
like,
some of that stuff.
They're like literally going out with cameras and literally discovering, like, yeah, there are people that are fairly like cannot really read or write, talking like fucking clicks and shit in America.
So it's basically the same thing, except the violent cannibalistic thing. No, they didn't say that in the notes. They if they're gonna eat you, they probably would. Like, I'd say,
why not?
But like, although I tend not to bum my food before I eat it.
Jeffrey Dahmer had a jar of pickled arseholes.
He did. Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't well though. God love him, and he had a normal upbringing. Well, relatively normal upbringing. And Jeffrey Dahmer was actually quite handsome. He wasn't disfigured and stuff. Not on the inside though. Like he was quite unhandsome, quite ugly on the inside. Yeah.
Cletus, sighting or shiting?
Extreme Cletus.
Sighting or shiting, Cletus?
I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think it's there. Like, so we've established that there is Cleti, extreme Cleti that live in the wilderness. If one of those Cleti were to be cannibalistic, then
it happens.
It's sighting.
Real story, true story.
But like, why would you be cannibalistic?
For the crack. Why not?
Why? Just like,
maybe you're a 40-minute drive from your nearest Aldi, and then someone comes along with a nice bit of an arse on them, and you're like, "Ooh, that'd go well in my stew."
Yeah, probably drive to Aldi.
Nah, it's easy. Throw out the bear trap. Try to kill,
and then just like, what is this? What is this silver tail? This man has a tail growing out of his bottom. What's going on? He mated with the wolves.
That would make him want to kill you more. He's like,
it may not. He might think that you're some sort of a deity.
Maybe
he'd be like, you're a god,
implant,
a forest god.
Alien implant. Did they think you have an alien implant up your arse?
Well, I'd say he might think that you're wolfkin.
Yeah,
you know.
We are going because we had to record with him there for 500 episodes. So
sure, look.
I've been Rob.
Eamon.
Cletus over and out.